Welcome back to the Beer Brackets Pub, everybody. Thank you for stepping into our pub and joining us for this most epic of summer versus battles that we've been wanting to do forever. And we are answering one of the most epic summertime questions that there ever was in the beer world, which is, which of these two wheat beers is superior? Is it the Blue Moon, based out of Colorado in the United States, as compared to the Belgian classic, the Hoegaarden?
I believe, my friend, what you meant was which beer.
Which is better? This is just, it's the summer of what and which. Before we get into this, we have to let everybody know if you'd like to sponsor a future Beer Brackets episode, click that super thanks button down below, that heart-shaped button. You can buy us a beer and we'll give you a big shout out on a future episode, and we will officially anoint you as a beer explorer in an official Beer Brackets Beer Explorer ceremony that you'll have to see to believe. So if you'd like to support the channel, click that button right there down below. But let's just get right into this VS battle, my friend. I cannot wait. We need to find out who is coming out on top.
Let's do it. I think this VS battle, it's quite of the epic one and on our channel.
This is extremely epic. It's not every day that we get to put two big beer brands in general against each other head to head like this, that are so similar in the sense that they occupy the same space in the market like these two beers do. I think maybe Heineken versus Stella was the last time that we did a VS battle with this level of competition.
I agree.
Oh, look at that Blue Moon. Look at that. It's unfiltered just like the Hoegaarden there, so you have that cloudy body to it. Oh, yeah. Look at that. You got the good side-by-side shot.
I love like the difference in color and also carbonation, I would say.
If you're watching this and you'd like a good background on these two breweries, a really in-depth analysis of these two beers, definitely check out our individual reviews for these two beers posted on the channel recently. But if you just want to know, in a bloodthirsty summertime wheat beer battle, which one is coming out on top, then this is the episode for you. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, my friend. Cheers, everybody.
Which one do you prefer?
Oh, so
starting with the aroma.
I mean,
this is a tough
the
one.
orange is strong on the Blue Moon. I mean, I will say that almost smells, it's like opening an orange and smelling it. Like it has like a very potent orange aroma.
Yeah.
But the Hoegaarden.
It is the Hoegaarden.
The Hoegaarden has like, subtle, like inviting, like almost like glancing at you without telling everything. It has that orange peel.
Wait, what? Glancing at you without telling you.
Exactly. It's important.
It's keeping beer secrets? Is that
that's what it's doing. It's saying like, no, I'm not going to tell you everything. You gotta taste. You gotta taste.
You gotta taste
first. But it has this.
You gotta buy the cow to get the milk. You got to take it out for dinner first, my friend.
Exactly. You can't just. It has like this. Yeah, I think the Hoegaarden has a little bit more of the, the spices background. So I think I'm gonna go with the Hoegaarden here, my friend. I find it more interesting, more inviting. Yeah,
I definitely find the Hoegaarden more. If you're wondering why we're calling it Hoegaarden, not Hoegaarden, like check out their website. They say it's officially pronounced Hoegaarden. If you haven't seen our Hoegaarden review and you're wondering why we're butchering the pronunciation, it's actually how they say it's supposed to be. But yes, I will definitely go with the Hoegaarden as well. I think it's a little bit more fruity. It's a little bit more balanced. It's a little bit more inviting. It's making me want to go in and take a sip a little bit more. I think on the Blue Moon, you get the maltiness, a little bit of hop, a little bit more. It's a little bit rough around the edges. It's almost like a little bit more burnt, like you say, the caramelized orange peel. I think you get that a little bit more on the Blue Moon. It's a little bit darker in aroma. I don't think I've described an aroma as dark on the Beer Brackets channel before, but I will with this one. The Hoegaarden's a little bit more lively, fruity. Definitely a point for the Hoegaarden. Now, my friend, the taste. Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Let's go in and sip these beers. Which one do you prefer? Which? Sorry, I don't want to butcher that joke by doing it over and over again, but it's just endlessly entertaining.
Oh, I can't stop thinking about it. Which wheat?
Especially after a few Hoegaardens.
You know what? Like it.
What do I know?
There's I would have expected it to be a more clean answer, but I will say that there are, good things about both, in the sense that they're very different. They're very, very different. So I think for me, it comes down to the Hoegaarden spice presence, so that's what I'm going to go with. But I can definitely see having, if you like a little bit more of the sweetness element, going with the Blue Moon. Like, and they're very, very unique, each one of them.
I think I'm going to go with Blue Moon on the taste. For one reason only, I think the taste, I really enjoy the taste of Hoegaarden, but I like the slight bit of maltiness that you get on the taste of Blue Moon. On its own, I didn't appreciate as much in the review setting, but putting it head-to-head against Hoegaarden and having them one after another, I'm actually finding this a little bit more drinkable in the sense of, like, if I'm thinking about if I can get through a whole pint from beginning to end, which one would be more palatable? I think it's going to be the Blue Moon for me. So Hoegaarden is up 3-1 after 2 categories, my friend. And now we get to the third category, which is the mouthfeel. And Beer Brackets tradition, we have to do a little bit of a refresher here. Freshen up the mouthfeels. Yeah, definitely a refresher.
All right, my friend. Let's see.
You know, Blue Moon's coming in as the underdog. If you saw the reviews of these 2 beers, Hoegaarden definitely blew it out of the water in terms of scores. But you never know when you're doing this head-to-head in the moment, pitting them side by side, which one's going to come out on top in comparison to one another. You never know. You know, this is kind of very interesting. This is interesting.
This is very interesting because, again, I was walking into this thinking something, but then I'm trying them side by side, and I'm kind of surprised. Like,
I know, right?
The Hoegaarden has more of that lively carbonation, which you would expect going to be like, oh yeah, it's going to be more light, but then as soon as that disappears, you get more of that. And I think we talked about this a little bit in the review. There's a little bit of that like sticky presence, but the Blue Moon starts off like more subtle, but it also stays and disappears quickly. Which, when it comes to drinkability, I think it's a big plus. So I think I'm gonna go with Blue Moon here, my friend. I'm even though like it has less carbonation, I'm gonna stick with the Blue Moon. What do you think?
3-2 for the Hoegaarden after 2. Midway through the third category. In the review of Hoegaarden, I said that the mouthfeel was one aspect of it that I really didn't enjoy, and that's translating to this versus battle. I think, the mouthfeel of the Blue Moon's just a little bit crisper. It's a little bit less oily, sticky. The mouthfeel in the Hoegaarden really is sort of like what transports that lingering finish into the back end of the beer, whereas with the Blue Moon, it's a lot more crisp. Sort of like a battle of 2 mouthfeels that aren't too impressive for me, but if I had to choose one, it's going to be the Blue Moon, definitely. So we're tied at 3, my friend, through 3 categories in this epic witbier beer battle. But now, the finish. Which one comes out on top for you?
Let's see, my friend. I'm not going to spoil what we said in the review, so if you're curious, go check it out. We'll go dive deep into the differences in each one of them. For me here, it comes down to a drinkability factor, and I think that I'm going to actually go with Blue Moon because it is...
Really?
I don't know. Like, I just like, for me, there's something about in the Hoegaarden that like amount of spices that is presented. It's good like as a one-off beer experience, but if I'm thinking about which one would I rather drink like and have like a couple of pints of, like I think the Blue Moon achieves that. Like it gives you those hints without being tiring on the palate, at least for me. And again,
I can see that for sure. I find the finish of Blue Moon is just a little bit too bitter for my liking. It's, there's that sort of like burnt aspect that we described in the review. It's very sort of like caramelized orange peel that's on there. Some very, very strong sort of like sweet maltiness, a little bit of hop. With the Hoegaarden, excuse me, it's very fruity. Even though I wasn't a big fan of the finish of Hoegaarden, I think when comparing them side by side, I'm definitely gonna have to go with the Hoegaarden on this one because it doesn't have that sort of like bitter, sour sort of aspect that the Blue Moon has on the finish. And right now, it's rare in a versus battle we get to the final category and we're tied at 4. So now the tiebreaker is the overall beer experience, which from beginning to end, where all the intangibles come into play, which beer is a superior beer experience for you?
Oh, my friend, like this is a lot of weight here.
It's a lot of weight, I know.
I think in this specific moment, between all the intangibles and because of the, the small subtleties, I think I'm going to go with the Hoegaarden because I think that it has a slightly more of an edge when it comes to the balance of the ingredients.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I will say that it was a close one because the Blue Moon has a more drinkability factor for me specifically.
It does. I think it does. I agree with that. Yeah.
So
for sure.
I think it just comes down to the Hoegaarden has like a little bit more of a balance. But I will say that this is the closest VS battle that I have had to judge for me personally. What do you think, my friend?
I'd agree with that. I think this is actually probably the closest VS battle that we've had to judge. We've never had a tie at the end of a VS battle before. And so there's a lot of pressure on my shoulders right now.
There is.
A lot of weight on my shoulders. If I had to pick one, though.
What?
As an overall beer experience, I'm going to have to go with the Hoegaarden. I have to. And not just to avoid the tie because I don't want to tie, but they both have their negatives. Neither one of these two is going to be my beer of choice on any given night. They both have aspects to them that I find make them unbalanced in a lot of ways that just detract from the overall beer experience in a way that's distracting, that I don't fully enjoy it. So picking which one is a superior beer experience is a little tough, but I think the Hoegaarden has just a little bit more to offer. So it's the point to Hoegaarden, my friend, and it takes this epic wheat beer battle, the first on the Beer Brackets channel, and it is the reigning wheat beer champion as I stand right now. I was so curious. I couldn't wait to see which one would come out on top. This was like a versus battle that I've been wanting to do for years.
We finally got to do it, my friend.
Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. If you do like this video and you want to see a little bit more from the channel, click that subscribe button down below, but also click that notification beer bell there, or else YouTube's not going to let you know about the episodes. They're just going to pass you by like a whisper in the wind.
Whisper in the wind?
Just passing you by.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for joining us in the Beer Brackets pub.
Thank you.
Hopefully you had a beer along with us.
And no matter what,
Let us know what you think.
don't forget to close your beer brackets.
Never forget.